Block Tales, a game where in order to survive, you need to dodge. But what if you never dodged? Is it still possible to beat the game? Today, we'll find out. I'm going to try beating the game without dodging or countering. I can still block, but trust me, it doesn't make it any easier. So I chose a new save file and began the challenge. As soon as I got out of the house, I went to buy food. It's gonna be very useful, and it's gonna be the only way of winning this challenge. After killing each enemy in Roblox HQ and getting my first box, I stumbled upon my first tougher enemy, which are red and blue. I was joking. They were easy as hell, but it won't be the same case for their next encounter. But before we get to it, I visited the box guy and spent my $1 on refund card. It's gonna be way more useful than you might think. Soon after breaking the barricade and defeating an encounter, I got Power Stab, which makes me deal more damage for a cost of SP. Soon after that, I defeated a few enemies and got another box. And also, I finally got to another encounter with red and blue, and this one is not as easy as the previous one. And with that, I had to do my first restart. This is just the first chapter and it's already pretty difficult, but despite that, I defeated my first boss. I finally could enter the cave, which has, well, some annoying enemies as you will see, but my first battle ended with success, and as you see already, I'm investing into HP. I need as much HP as possible to make this challenge possible. Anyway, I continued to adventure through the cave, and well, right after going up the ladder, I got HP plus card, which is very good for me because, you know, HP. Also, remember me saying something about annoying enemies? Well, it's these stupid ants and rats. They're genuinely so hard to block and easy to counter that it's just more worth it to take damage. And well, that was until I tried to block one of them. And I had to restart because of that. Well, after that fail and going back there all over again, I entered the frozen cave with this This also caused my first death because of my stupidity, and after going through more ants, I got to the boss of ants. How I love ants. Luckily, I could tank every attack of this boss, and that was why I could defeat the boss and move on to the city. That means I can buy some cards and food. After talking to the mayor, I can go to the most painful area, chapter 1. I had to restart so many times because of this dumb encounter. I hate this place. I hate it. So after lots of attempts, I got the dynamite, so I could get to the castle. And well, this place wasn't so bad until I had to go against this guy. His attacks are so easy to dodge, which is bad for me because I can't dodge. And because of that, this guy caused me to restart several times. But after lots of struggling, I got to the king, the last boss of chapter 1. Will I be able to defeat him? Now it's time for chapter 2. After talking to Strzelecki, which is in bad state, I went to the box guy and bought another card. This time it was the item plus card, and also bought a charge defense card in the card shop. After getting ready, I could go to chapter 2, and I need to say it's way harder than the first one, as you will see. But the first few enemies I took down pretty easily. Well, kinda. And I could get into the anthill, which is probably the worst place in the game. Why? Well, it has mosquitoes, which are even worse than ants, because if I don't block they will heal to max. Like you could have expected, they made me do the first restart of chapter 2 and also the second, but after getting through these terrible creatures, I got out of the anthill. You think it will get easier from now on, right? Wrong! Enemies all over the jungle are very hard to deal with because of how easy they are to dodge, and they actually deal a lot of damage. Speaking about them being easy to dodge, yeah, next restart, after getting through all the enemies, which wasted all of my items, I could finally get to the town, where I made questionable purchases, and also met Griefer for the first time. He escaped, and we gotta chase him. Not long after getting out of the car and getting through few enemies, I met Griefer again. He escaped again, but this time I gotta kill the stupid lizard to proceed. But what is so hard about it, you may ask? And that's pretty much everything. I don't have anything that can deal a lot of damage, and if I mess up once by dodging, I gotta restart just like any encounter. Although for this one I wasn't prepared, this time I actually had a strategy. This time I was so close. Next one has to be it, right? And I finally got rocket boost, which allowed me to progress. But at the other side, there are very annoying enemies. And every time I restart, I need to start all over again, and go through the same enemies again and again. It made me learn how to better block, which will be very useful. Also, remember these guys and how much I struggled with them? Now it's time for the worst version of that. I love this game. After getting through these annoying enemies, I made it to Griefer, and I literally won the fight first try. But the next encounter, oh boy, it will be something different. And well, time to struggle with random enemies even more. Ah, lovely. It's time for another boss fight. But if I manage to get through him, random enemies won't be that bad. First try was almost it, just that I dodged. Although next one ended with a failure, I got even closer and I got even more experience at fighting him. So this might be it. The boss is low at HP and I might be finally able to take him out. And I did it. I got a better sword and a lot of free food. The new sword can break through tall grass and deals more damage. With help of this sword, I got to the tree. Tree where the final boss of chapter 2 is. After doing the puzzle, I could get into that tree with annoying enemies, including mosquitoes and these guys. Yeah, it caused me a few restarts, but finally, after some time, I got to the top. It's time. After defeating first phase of Creeper first try, now it's time for the second one. This one is much harder than the previous one. Even though I got very close to defeating him, I couldn't seem to be able to defeat him at all. I had to come up with some strategy. So first thing I tried is to change weapons to yeah, I'm an idiot. After that, I switched back to my old strategy, which well, still didn't work. And that's when I got an idea. I rushed to the box guy and bought a card that will change everything. So there's an attack that deals lots of damage, and if I try to block it, I will dodge no matter what. It deals 1 damage each hit, so theoretically I should be immune to this attack, because of my 1 defense. I hope this works. So now, it was time for the attack. It was the moment of truth. This was huge. This boss will be much easier now. I still need to be careful, and well, I messed up, but now I have a great strategy, so this can't be that hard. I just need to be careful. We started chapter 3, and as soon as I went to the track... Alright, fine. Let's just get straight to emotions. First one being greed. And my strategy was to not dodge at all, and use red and blue to attack. I got them after defeating green and purple. After defeating greed, there are 3 emotions left. So next up is solitude. Unlike greed, I was pretty close to dying here, but red and blue carried to victory. There are only 2 emotions left. Fear is next, and I love this theme, and the effect when Fear summons their minions, masterpiece. But well, I got through Fear. It's the time for hatred. And now, strategy with red and blue doesn't work. I have to think of something else. I tried many different card loadouts. After many fails, I came up with the most defensive build and tried beating hatred once more.